Alright everyone, James Lambert here, back with another video, just to share my thoughts. But wherever you are, wherever you're watching this, I hope this video finds you well. It's Sunday, just enjoying a nice coffee. And yeah, just been thinking quite a lot actually about, I suppose, the coaching industry and the space in which I'm privileged to share and to serve. And I was thinking about when people make claims to help you. I can help you do this and I can help that. Indeed, I offer to facilitate positive change. But what I've been thinking of, and the purpose of this video, is to really encourage you to see that actually, whether it's a palatable or a popular idea or notion, it's actually you that needs to do the bulk of the changing. And the phrase that came to mind was, nothing works unless you do. Quite simply, that means that no matter what coach, in any discipline, physical, mind or otherwise, no other coach can do your work. The other thing comes to mind, I can't do your push-ups. And again, I got to daydreaming about when I was in the boxing gym. And the coach would go around, say he said, do 100 sit-ups, 100 push-ups. And people would start off very disciplined, the first 5, the first 10, first 15 look good. But when the coach passed them and they think he couldn't see or no one was looking, they'd stop, they'd take a little breather. And you see, I used to get a bit, initially, when I was very young, a bit narked. I'd think, they're cheating, they're getting away with it. But you see, this is what the beautiful thing about life is, and how I've come to understand and see karma, is that you live with your results and your energetic signature based on what you do, based on your work. They didn't get away with anything. Because when it came showtime in the ring or outside, when it was in the fight, their lack of proper prior preparation showed up. There was nowhere to hide. And that's what I loved about a fight. A clean fight, an honest fight. It kept one literally very honest, for there was nowhere to hide. Not like an unruly mob at a football. You could get people blind drunk throwing punches, seemingly brave. Cowards. These were men that were typically scared when they were stone cold sober, or if they weren't all mobbed up, they were rubbish. They weren't fighters. And so what I'm saying, I had no respect for that. So what I soon come to understand, that because I put in the work in the gym, and moreover, it was a pride of point. If the coach wanted 100 push-ups, I would try and do 212. The first 100 were for him, the next 100 were for me, and if I could squeeze out a few more, even more so. And it was something that, as I say, I came to be it was a point of pride. I wouldn't do the least. I wouldn't particularly I remember the exercise that absolutely killed me, as it did indeed everyone. You lay completely flat on the floor and raise both of your feet together just a little bit up. So all of that pressure is on one's core, chiseling away at those abs, working the muscle fibers, straining them. And yet it was developing an iron will and iron abs. Most people ducked out of that within seconds. A few might have lasted to 30 seconds. Most people plain up quit. Now, this isn't a judgment. I'm merely recounting what I saw time after time, gym after gym, up and down the country. So again, when it comes back to the coaching, a lot of people are expecting more from their coach, from their personal trainer, from their counsellor, from their therapist, than they are of themselves. This patently won't work. Yes, I and others can facilitate change. I can share some tips, tools, strategies and advice that have worked for me. You have to implement them in your life. You have to do the work. And so often I see it, whether it's in one's relationships, one's sporting life, one's hobbies, one's pastimes, particularly relationships. Let's stick to that for a moment. We so often give up and we go on to the next. That old saying comes to mind, the grass is greener elsewhere. It's not. It's greenest where you tend to it, in your own backyard. Again, you do the work. You do the work. Make your relationship with yourself outstanding. Make your relationship with others outstanding. Expect more from yourself than of others. No matter the excuses, as I've done myself, this is why I'm so passionate. Oh, but they didn't do this first, or they never said hello first, or they don't give a F. No matter. No matter, I have a code of conduct, my own personal standards. I expect, sometimes it can almost be a detriment, so you have to be careful with this. But I expect so much of myself. I hold myself to a standard, and that's in my manners. That's in my courtesy, my politeness, the way I act. And this is a beautiful thing. And so the real thrust of this video, whatever you are seeking out there, know that it has been within your ability to control. And I suppose when it came to thinking about coaching and my own style, yes, sir, I facilitate change, but I don't sit as your peer. I'm not above you or ahead of you in any shape, way or form. I merely, if you like, I come alongside you. So there's this beautiful relationships. Everything good enough, it works on this symbiotic relationship. So if anything, I learn at least as much from you as you do from me. So there's no judgment. There's no looking down upon those I work with. It's that, yeah, I've learned some things that can be helpful, but in other spheres of life, you know much more in maybe your own field of expertise, whether it's nursing, IT, sports, whatever. But the point is we can all learn from each other. But that key point I want to drive home very deliberately is expect a minimum of as much from yourself as you do in anyone else you work with. As I've already said, mention your personal trainer or a coach, life coach or otherwise, but also your work colleagues, in your relationships, the relationships with your parents or your siblings. Don't, again, this beautiful thing, I think, for the longest time I wanted to get, I expected people to give, but not knowing that I can be a source of that. Typically, wanting love from others, so I want this, I want that car, I want this money. But what was I giving up? What was I exchanging? Again, there's no relationship. So when I began to give first, give particularly that which I wanted, whether it be kindness or compassion or laughter, expected it from myself first and foremost, lo and behold, in part, not always, far from always, but sometimes it would be reciprocated. But you see, that was the key point. Whether or not other people were kind or not back, did it affect my mood? Of course, yeah, of course. But the thing is, I wasn't counting or relying on that to be reciprocated for me not to start initiating what I want, whether it be love, kindness, compassion, that what I've already said. So I just want to leave you with that, to expect more from yourself, or at least as much from yourself as you do. And remember, nothing works unless you do. I think that sentence beautifully sums up, again, I was thinking in fairy tales, and it has been a rather unhelpful archetype, but in women, in storybooks, there was always the woman portrayed as the damsel in distress, waiting to be rescued, if you like, from the knight in shining armour. Now, growing up, like when I read them, it sort of occurred to me that if I had to be the knight in shining armour, there was no one coming to rescue me. So you had to sort of be the hero in your own life. Now, at times that did feel very lonely. I think it did add to my alienation of how I felt and saw the world. But on the good side, it really made me quite self-reliant and resilient. And it's like, there's an honesty again in that. Now, I'm not knocking any one particular religion, but when you're looking externally, I do see this as unhelpful, to a saviour, to come and help you, to come and put your, operative keyword being your problems right, when you can do them yourself. You're awaiting someone to save the world or peace on earth when you could be doing something about it. And I have got a problem with that, because it's all about absolving one's responsibility. And I've spoken about this before, like an external locus of focus, they call it in psychology, and I believe it can be very damaging. It's like you have the ability and a duty to sort your shit out. So if you're not, and be very honest about this, as I've had to be, yeah, it's hurts, it's tough, but you've got to sort your shit out. So it's not Theresa May's fault, it's not the immigrants' fault, it's not your enemy or your neighbour's fault or your wife's fault or your girlfriend's or your boy's fault or your gang's fault. It's your fault in part, and your thinking, and therefore your feelings and your behaviour. Put them together, begin to see the pattern, and take responsibility. Is it easy? No. But you and I both know, we've been around long enough to know that the really good, the really meaningful kind of things don't necessarily come easy. But are they worth it? You betcha. So I will leave it there. It's been a long video, but I hope word to the wise, there's been some value in this. And if this does speak to you, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. By all means, like the video, share it, more importantly. That's what it's really about. And as I say, I hope you have found some value in there. But the overarching thing is that it's a positive. The fact that you have got the ability and wherewithal within you to actively, positively make a fundamentally profound difference for the better in your life. You have that. You don't have to wait for some other person, no external saviour, no superhero. You don't have to win the lottery to manifestly make your life the masterpiece it potentially could be, with a few tweaks here and there. And as I say, you can do that working with me as your coach. But again, whoever you work with or don't, you have the power to make that change. So expect more from yourself than someone else, and just to begin to see how things change for the better. As I say, I hope you found value in that. Thank you for watching. If you've stuck it out this far, I do appreciate your support. And thank you for those of you that comment. I value your feedback. I just like hearing from you. So that's nice as well. So as always, from my heart to yours, look after yourself, and remember, you are unstoppable, and I believe in you. Take care.